So for those who don't know, they're now Ethereum-based flash loans, and I think this is really going to be one of the things that could make DeFi go to the moon and beyond. Obviously, I'm just kind of speculating, but for those who didn't hear the story, somebody who's anonymous was able to use a platform called BZX, I believe, or BZK. I have to double check. BZX. It's really a decentralized Ethereum platform, and he took a loan with no collateral, and ended up making over $360,000. And you're probably wondering, how does somebody get a loan with no collateral? Well, I mean, that's why this was very innovative, because the way it works is technically you can take a loan with no collateral as long as it's paid back in one transaction. So what this person did is he made a smart contract. So everything was one transaction with the smart contract, but inside that smart contract, he had 5 different services he used. He basically took money from some, I think, Compound or DYDX. Then he basically took a hedge. He went long on Bitcoin on an Ethereum wrapped BTC pair. So basically an ERC20 token that's backed by Bitcoin. And then went short on Ethereum. Then he went on Uniswap, and basically this is the part that's kind of illegal. This is really market manipulation, and he forced the price of Ethereum to dump, and he made a killing on his short position. He closed that out. Then he covered all his trades, paid off the debt, and kept the profits. So long story short, it's basically financial engineering. He did a trade with leverage without having to put up any collateral in one transaction. And the company that basically kind of had this glitch that was available. So yeah, so the company is called BZX. So I've pulled it up here on DeFi Pulse. BZX. It's a lending platform. So they had insurance, and they have reimbursed anybody who was on the losing side of that trade. Because as they say, it is either you win or you lose. So while this person won, people on the other end lost a bunch of money. So they're able to cover that. Now, Bill, what's your take on this? I mean, because this comes from the Wall Street, right? From derivatives markets, and being able to now do this on a blockchain anonymously in a decentralized fashion. I mean, this seems pretty chaotic.
Well, I mean, yes, it is chaotic, but this is as old as the hill, right? I mean, people were doing stuff like this in commodity markets in the 80s, derivatives in the 90s. I mean, this type of stuff, people inventing arbitrage strategies helps create liquidity. Yes, this person may or may not have done something that is right or wrong. The fact that someone's getting this creative, it means the market's getting a lot more sophisticated. Mm-hmm. We're not in like the buy a Bitcoin with an ugly sweater market and watch it go up. And we're not doing that anymore. It's different. Smarter people are involved. Okay. And when smart people get involved, bull markets happen.
Right. Yeah. So this is the exchange. It's called BZX. And according to DeFi Pulse, it's a decentralized protocol on Ethereum for lending and trading with margin and leverage. So if we pull up, this is their site. It's actually a nice design. Looks like it's the same designer for DNT District 0x. So the product this person used was Fulcrum. So we see here a DeFi margin lending and trading platform. So let me pull this up here. Okay, so margin made simple. Fulcrum is a powerful DeFi platform for tokenized lending and margin trading. So you can do a 5x long or short trade. Okay, with no KYC. And it's non-custodial. Everything is tokenized. I mean, this seems like they're asking to get shut down by the SEC. Right. Okay, I mean...
Right, I mean... You know, financial engineering, new knowledge is great. Troublemakers, they're always going to be there, right? The question is, are the troublemakers creating new strategies or are they hurting the market? This troublemaker, okay, they're going to get shut down. Doesn't sound good, but somebody is getting more sophisticated. Okay. It only takes one guy to start a trend, right? Now, hopefully we're not going to be manipulating the price of Ethereum, but leverage strategies, derivatives, custom advice, this is what institutions provide.
Right. I mean, I can say this definitely got my attention into looking into how to leverage just to learn more about how these platforms work, because this does seem like the future. Because I think because this is something that I think can attract institutional investors, obviously in a more compliant fashion, but being able to really have this level of financial engineering innovation definitely does get the attention of some big players. But this definitely does scare me because no KYC with 5x leverage. Obviously, it's nowhere close to the 50x leverage on some platforms, but this can definitely, because there is no regulation, there's no market manipulation that can be controlled, and I think that scares regulators. That's why this issue is really getting all the press out there, because imagine if this was millions of dollars. Imagine if this was $1 billion, because insurance can't cover every case. And we've had issues with smart contracts before as well with the DAO hack. So imagine if that was on leverage. So yeah, it's definitely very scary, but definitely an interesting platform. I'll have to check this out some more. Okay, Joe Ball is saying, Ian, if you like DeFi, search Ryan Sean Adams, The $1 Trillion Case for ETH. There's a Twitter thread by him worth a read. Yeah, I think I've heard of him. He's the one who has the Substack newsletter, I believe. Okay, so here we see they do have an insurance fund. 10% of the interest paid by borrowers. Okay, so then they also have one other platform called Torque. This seems more for loans and borrowing. I think this is for term loans. And then they do have some blog posts kind of walking people through how to do all this. But yeah, I mean, I definitely recommend everybody checks out the site DeFiPulse.com. It's a good place to kind of keep an eye on DeFi. Right now, Maker has the largest dominance. Almost 60% of the money is in Maker. Right now it's 57%. But so if we had to rank the DeFi projects right now based on how much money they have locked up, it's Maker, Compound, Synthetics, Instadap, Uniswap. So definitely very interesting times. As mentioned before, I think this is how Ethereum is going to go over $1,000 in my opinion. If just looking from purely the adoption and usage part of their growth.